Part 2 of the frozen bread. Okay, back to what we were talking about, buying these frozen bread rolls or frozen bread loaves at the grocery store. Every store has them. This is Gorilla Bread. Now, Rich, who's doing the camera on the other side, you can't see him, but was talking about monkey bread. And I think that what monkey bread was, and my daughter makes this for her kids, is like bread, you know, those biscuits in a can. But anyway, the biscuits come in a can, you hit them on the side and they explode. Well, I'm not a big fan, but some people like them. Yeah, I guess we could probably doctor those up at some point too. But this is the frozen bread rolls that I put in my mom's old bun pan, like again. But I make also a mixture, and this is brown sugar, butter, and butter is always better. Don't use margarine, please. I don't want to hear about it. If you're using margarine, don't tell me, la la la. It's not, that stuff tastes like oil. In fact, it is a synthetic. It is not a real food product. You might as well use Pennzoil in it because it's not any better. So this is brown sugar, spices. I think I put in allspice, cinnamon, brown sugar, white sugar because they're different. And always remember, if you're using any kind of a baking recipe with sugar, you need a pinch of salt. What it does is it opens up the molecules in the sugars and expands the flavor. It's a chemical thing. It just is a good point to remember doing. I also put in here chopped up pecans. And then after you bake this, and this is so easy to make, well, first of all, you got to let the rolls rise, right? You put them in a bowl, they rise. And the top layer, you can't see through here, but you can trust me on this. I wouldn't lie to you about food. Maybe something else about my weight, but I wouldn't lie to you about my food. On the top layer of all these rolls, in the middle, and this is why it's Gorilla Bread, not monkey bread, is a big cube of cream cheese. I mean, if you're gonna blow it, right? Don't start counting calories on desserts. I mean, that is absolutely absurd. Who the hell does that? I mean, nobody I know, so blow it. I mean, go all the way or don't go at all. So the bottom layer, if you have anybody that's lactose intolerant, like we do in our family, these are the rolls on the bottom with no cream cheese in them. These are plain, so they can have this. So two types of people can have these. You can make these, like let the rolls rise overnight. Next morning, pop all the cinnamon, sugar, and everything in the pan, and then just throw them into the oven. And if you want to gild the lily like I do, I made more crunchy stuff for the top. Now, if you're tasting, your palate will tell you if you like it or not. But the palate goes through layers. Even though you're not consciously thinking about what you're eating, you're just going, wow, this is really bitchin'. It's really good, but you don't know why you like it. Well, butter, I mean, who doesn't like butter? But if you like sugar, if you're a sugar person, most people are, you like to taste it, and then you got the added crunch of the toasted pecans. Toasting nuts, quickie on toasting nuts. Take a small skillet, nothing in it, and throw nuts in there, and they are raw nuts, and turn on a very low flame and keep them moving at all times. They toast the nuts, releases the natural oils in the nuts, and you'll get a better, fuller flavor. And you just know it tastes better. Mouthfeel again. Mouthfeel is how people don't think about, but your food manufacturers do. The food manufacturers are always thinking about how are we going to intrigue somebody into a new food thing. When I did General Foods, I worked for General Foods years ago in product development. We were always thinking about how we could hook somebody into a new product. It was always about the mouthfeel. How does it taste? What does it taste like? And analyzing it until we were blue in the face. It drove me freaking crazy. I'd like to use the other word, but you know, I'm already using bitchin', so I can't do that. So anyway, you can use, but toast your nuts first. Toasted nuts are always better. I'm not going to even go there with you either. So anyway, this is your Gorilla Bread. And to finish off this little segment, I ran across this in the New York Times. This is a segment on food test kitchens. And food test kitchens, if they would have had them around, oh, say 20 years ago when I was in the food industry, I would have loved to do this. What these people do is they get together and they test different types of food for different companies. It's for different manufacturers, and they get to get paid to do this. It's outrageous. I can't think of a better job outside of maybe doing these cooking, so-called cooking classes for you. I don't know if these are really cooking classes. I think it's anecdotal information, geography, history, nutrition, but just eating. Come back and join us. Love to have you. Manja!